In this video I want to take a look at the Thracian nobles and the Thracian warriors. Mainly to discuss some balancing changes that I think are way overdue with these two units. What they have in common is a high melee attack, high weapon damage, a good bonus versus large, that is not on the unit cards, 20 bonus versus large, a good charge bonus, but their melee defense is atrocious and they have a 0% chance to block incoming enemy missiles. So you'll see that they only have their base value from melee defense, which means they will get hit a lot in melee. And the same with the Thracian Warriors, they only have their base value. So this shield that is strapped to their arm gives them a 0% chance to block incoming missiles. It also does not contribute to their melee defense. So in practice that means that the shields are only there for reducing base damage against the unit, and that is terrible. These units are shock units. In my opinion, they should get the frenzy trait. Makes absolutely no sense that units that are pure shock units with two-handed weapons that live and die by their charge do not have frenzy. If any units in the game should have frenzy, it should be these guys. So just giving them that, giving them a 10% chance to block incoming enemy missiles due to their shields. It could probably be 15 as well and not be unbalanced or too much, because if you imagine that this guy is being fired upon from the front or from this direction, there is a fair chance that this shield is going to take the hit and not the guy himself. So giving them a chance to block incoming enemy missiles, giving them a boost to their melee defense of 20 would still mean that they would have a low melee defense, but they just wouldn't be as easy to hit in melee. Giving them frenzy would make their charge even more fearsome than it already is, but at the cost of fatigue, of course. So these changes would further refine these units as a shock unit, but it will also give them some much needed survivability, because the Thracian kingdom really lacks survivability. They have the mercenary veteran hoplites, they have the mercenary hoplites, but I think just adding mercenary hoplites is a mistake. They should instead look to balance the faction by fine-tuning the already present faction traits of being fearsome on the charge, but adding just a little bit of survivability to them without making them overpowered. A 10% chance to block missiles and 20 increase in melee defense, giving them a melee defense of 34 is not nearly enough to make them unkillable. It just makes them last slightly longer in melee. It doesn't make them ridiculous in any way. It makes them slightly less susceptible to enemy Pila volleys and the like. And in my opinion, them being the only unit in the game that doesn't have a chance to block missiles, even though they have shields, and the only unit that doesn't have a shield that contributes to its melee defense, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and it seems to me like an oversight. So hopefully this will get fixed before the game isn't patched anymore, because the Thracian kingdom is a potentially awesome faction. It just suffers from lack of attention in my opinion. And while we're at it, the Romphia could be a weapon that could also benefit from a 5 to 10 bonus against infantry, and not just have a bonus against cavalry attached to it. So those are my thoughts on how to make the Thracian nobles and the Thracian warriors a bit stronger without making them completely overpowered. And I'll do the same for different units of other factions as well. So if you have any input, feel free to let me know. Make a thread on the forums too. That can write it in the balancing thread that Reptilicus has suggested. There are a lot of good suggestions there, but I think there are many more that could be made. Strength and honor.